Hello, future leaders. My name is Wallace, and today we're going to be doing a short reading, and the name of our reading is King Midas. But before we start our reading for today, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Wallace, and I'm from a place called Mississippi. Mississippi is down south. And when I was your age, just a few years ago, when I was your age, I went to a school, and the name of my school was Mitchell Elementary. This is Mitchell right here, I would like to show you. And Mitchell is in Columbus, Mississippi. I'm not sure if they really use my school much anymore. I think they use it for voting, basically. And they also keep old books and computers there. So when I was your age, went to a school called Mitchell Elementary. And after Mitchell Elementary, I went to high school. I went to Columbus High School. And the colors for my high school are purple and yellow and purple. After high school, I was not sure what I wanted to do, but I ended up going to college. And I went to college in Mississippi, and the name of my university is the University of Mississippi. And the University of Mississippi, I guess our football team is okay. Our basketball team is okay, but maybe our girls volleyball team is probably most okay. They get a lot of news coverage. So let's say girls volleyball, football, and basketball. Mississippi University is known for. While I was in Mississippi, I did not play on the university teams or anything, but I was in an organization, and the name of my organization, it's a fraternity, and we are called Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, and Omega is really instrumental in helping in the neighborhoods, in the different communities. We do things to help support people that want to go to school. We do things to support women who might not have a second additional source of income. They might be single and they need help in the household. So we help women with kids. We do things with the Red Cross and community blood drives. So we're active in different ways in the community. So I did this when I was in the university. After university, I worked for a while, and then I ended up moving to a place called China. And China is way over here on the other side of the world. It's probably about 12 hours from Detroit. Some of our neighbors in China are North Korea, South Korea, and Japan. So you might know some things that are made in Japan, like cars, like Honda. Hondas are made, computers, Toshiba, okay, but we also have our computers here in China. China actually, guys, before I leave China and go to America, I want to tell you a little bit about China. China is probably most famous for the people that they have. And China has about 1.4 billion with a B. So maybe I should make it a capital B. Huh? How about that? Billion people, 1.4 billion people. So let's see, how many zeros am I going to put on this thing? On this number. So if I put 0, that's not quite enough. That's like 1,400. If I put 3 more zeros, let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3. That's not 1.4 billion. That's like 1.4 million. Yeah, that would be with an M. That's like 1.4 million, okay? But what we need like another number here. The number that we need looks a little bit more like this. 0, 0, 0, and 0, 0, 0. So 1.4 billion. That's a pretty good, big number. And this is the population in China. This is the number of people in China. And I guess to give you an idea of how big that is, America, we probably have about, let's say 356 million. So we don't have as many zeros. Okay, yeah. We're missing some zeros in America. All right. Okay, so that's the difference in numbers. And maybe if I put this over here like that, that will even help you to understand it better. Okay. Guys, while I was in China, I was a high school teacher, and most of my students, all of my students, were basically in high school. Okay, I want to take us to where you guys are. I'm in China over here, all right? If I wanted to go to America, I could go this way or that way. I'm going to go this way. Afghanistan. Afghanistan, you might hear a little bit in the news these days. Egypt. Egypt is famous for pyramids. Lots of pyramids in Egypt. And also, this part of the world was also in the Bible. So here's the Mediterranean Sea, and you have the Red Sea right here. So these names are also in the Bible, but maybe the names were a little different back then. Okay, we keep going. And this blue part, of course, is the ocean. It's a lot of ocean, and it's really deep. And this is the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so we're going to cross the Atlantic Ocean, and now we're back in America, in New York. And I think you guys are here in Michigan. And if I'm not mistaken, you all are at the bottom of the thumb. Remember, guys, that Michigan is shaped like a hand. And I think you all are right here at the bottom of the thumb. Okay. So, guys, that's about maybe about 17 hours away from you I am. Maybe about 17 hours away from China to Detroit. Okay, so we're about 17 hours apart. So when it's daytime in Detroit, it's going to be nighttime in China. And when it's daytime in China, it will be nighttime in Detroit. Okay, guys, future leaders, are you ready for your story of the day? Your story of the day is King Midus, a tale of wisdom, King Midus. And King Midus is a king. He's not real. He's not a real king, okay? But they want to introduce this word wisdom. And wisdom comes from the word wise. And wise just means to have a good understanding, okay? You just have a very good understanding. And sometimes you have to be very old to be wise, but you don't always have to be old to be wise. Young people can be wise as well. So if you have a good understanding, maybe you are wise. Okay, guys, the name of our book today, King Midus. And I'm going to be reading about King Midus and his family. Okay, there was once a king named Midus who ruled a magical land of roses and sunshine. Midus was rich beyond imagination, but he was a little selfish and foolish. Instead of enjoying the warm sunshine and wonderful flowers in his beautiful kingdom, Midus spent the days locked in a room all by himself, counting his money. Oh, wow. Look at all of these gold coins Midus has. Look at that. There was nothing that Midus would rather do than count his riches. His gold made him feel important, and he loved to surround himself with it. Each morning, King Midus headed straight to the vault. And each night he would lie awake and dream of how to get more gold. Okay, welcome. This is King Midus. This is our first character. Okay. King Midus had a beautiful daughter named Marigold. She was very different from her father. Marigold did not care much for gold, and she was not selfish at all. Day after day, Marigold would walk among the roses in her garden. She loved taking care of all the beautiful flowers and watering them so they would be strong and grow even taller than she was. So she had some very tall roses. Or maybe Marigold is just short. I don't know. Let's keep reading. There was nothing Marigold liked better than smelling the sweet scent of the roses and watching the pretty butterflies. Marigold was sorry that her father never joined her in the garden. She wished he could leave his gold and come outside to enjoy the beautiful garden. So Marigold likes her roses, and I think her roses like her. She also likes butterflies. Butterflies and roses. One day, Midas was counting his gold when a stranger appeared. "How did you get in here?" asked King Midas. "I have some magical powers," he said. "You sure have a lot of gold." "Yes, but I could always use more," Midas said. "I could give you the power to turn all that you touch into gold," said the stranger. "Would you like that?" "Yes, of course I would," Midas excitedly said to the mysterious stranger. "I would like that very much." "Very well," said the stranger. "After the next sunrise, anything you touch will turn to gold." Wow, imagine that. Okay, and this is the stranger, and this is Midas. The stranger sort of looks funny. I'm not sure what type of animal this stranger looks like. I'll have to think about that. King Midas spent that night sitting by the window and waiting for the sun to rise. When it did, he reached to push away the curtain, and it turned into solid gold. Then Midas grabbed his chair, and it turned into gold too. The king ran from room to room, and all that he touched turned to gold. Tables, doors, mirrors, and paintings all turned to gold. Then Midas rushed from the castle into Marigold's garden. He knew that this was his daughter's favorite place. Midas laid his hand on a rose, and it turned from scarlet red, which is very, very deep red, to gold. How delighted Marigold would be, he thought. And then he turned all the gold roses to red. He turned them all to gold. You know, I was just thinking about his daughter's name. His daughter's name is not just Mary, it's Marigold. You know, this Midas really likes gold a lot. Okay, let's keep going. Soon, the king's stomach began to rumble. He must be hungry. Making gold had made him so hungry. Midas returned to the castle and ordered a delicious breakfast. Servants brought plates full of fruit, bread, meat, and eggs. King Midas decided to start with a strawberry, but when he touched it, the strawberry changed to gold and could not be eaten. Can you imagine having a golden strawberry? Wow. Then he grabbed a goblet of water and raised it to his lips, but the water turned to gold. Midas was just dizzy with hunger. He wanted some food, but it all turned to gold. Suddenly, Marigold came into the room, holding a gold rose and crying. Doesn't sound like Marigold's too happy about this gold situation. Let's continue. Marigold sat at the royal table and sobbed. "Look at this poor rose," she cried. "How could this have happened?" "I made it happen," answered King Midas. "Don't you like it?" "My roses are ruined," exclaimed Marigold. "They no longer smell sweet. They no longer feel like velvet. And they no longer make the butterflies dance. They're worthless." Like all fathers, King Midas hated to see his daughter unhappy, and he wanted to make her feel better. He rushed over to give her a comforting hug. Uh-oh, I think I know what's going to happen. As soon as he did, Marigold turned into solid gold. Bad idea, bad idea. Oh, King Midas ran from his golden daughter. He knew nothing. And now he knew the wish he had wished had been a curse and not a blessing. So he had a wish, he wished for it, he got the wish, but the wish was not a wish. The wish was a curse. Not good. "I was very foolish," King Midas answered. "Save my daughter, and you can have all of my gold." "I do not want your gold, Midas. I wanted to teach you a lesson." To get your daughter back, go to the river by the rose garden. Dive into its water and gather enough water to sprinkle over all the things you have turned to gold, and they will return to normal. Okay, so now the stranger has told Midus what to do, because Midus was not happy because he lost the only other thing that really mattered, his daughter. King Midus called all his servants. Gather every pail and bucket you can't find, he shouted. Without another word, he ran to the river's edge and leaped into the cold, rushing water. The water around the king began to turn golden yellow. The king began to turn golden yellow. Oh, Midus watched as the golden layer fell to the bottom of the river. Quickly, King Midus and his servants filled several pails with water and returned to the castle. He went straight to the dining hall and splashed water over every golden object he saw, including his daughter. As Marigold changed back to her normal self, his heart filled with joy. Okay, guys, so King Midus jumped into the water, and then the gold fell to the bottom. Okay. King Midus was very thankful to have his daughter back. Together, they went outside and changed all the gold flowers back to beautiful red roses. King Midus had learned that there are more important things in life than gold. From that day on, King Midus was happier than he had ever been before. He no longer spent his days locked away all by himself. Instead, he liked to go outdoors where he could see the true beauty of the flowers, the butterflies, and most valuable treasure, his daughter Marigold. The only gold that King Midus cared for now was the golden sunshine. Okay, wow. Guys, today we were talking about wisdom, and I want to read you a part of this, and it says that wisdom is learning to make the right choices. This story allows us to know that King Midus loved gold, but he thought he would be happier if he had more gold. But in fact, he was not. He found that there are other things besides gold that are important. So my future leaders, I want you to understand that wisdom takes time. However, it's all about making the right choices. Make the right choices, guys, and I will see you next time. Goodbye, future leaders.